Welcome back to another epic crypto day. We got good news for once. We got good inflation data, so that is great. Hopefully that will help feed into the interest rate review in about a week's time with the Federal Reserve. So looking forward to that. It certainly helps a lot, and it's a pretty decent decrease as well. So we're going to talk about that today. We're obviously going to get into some of the best performers on Pulse Chain, which is FINFESTA and VOX. We've covered VOX and FINFESTA a couple of times already. And they are doing very well indeed. And so we're going to get into that. Of course, FINFESTA is nice little airdrops to your wallet from, I guess you might call them as well. And VOX there is the latest farm on Pulse Chain, doing very, very well from the founders, as I understand it, of Pulse Aloyan, doing pretty well there. Now, if you haven't joined our Discord, get in there, folks. It is awesome. We've got a great bunch of people been having awesome chats lately. And of course, it is only $12.50 to join up per month. So get in there today and join up to the community. If you also want to become part of our strategy club and get a load of intel in there, I'm going to be doing some upgrades for the strategy club as well moving forward. So get in there. And of course, that is only $35 a month. So great value in there as well. Constant intel flying about lots of different crypto. I'm going to be expanding the coverage in there as well. And of course, I've done a little bit of a soft launch on the crypto for beginners course, the first training course that I've done. And that is 15 videos from beginners, intermediates, and advanced. And you can find that in the link as well. That is hot off the press today. You're hearing about it for the first time. And get in there. It's about $74.99 for a one-off fee. So get in that today and, yes, share it around to your friends as well. There's lots of good things in there. And of course, it's very easy to follow, which is really important. Some courses out there, they take you down the rabbit hole and you get stuck in, you watch one tutorial and you get stuck in it. Well, this one, you'll be able to fly through all 15 and end up having a very good grasp of crypto. And that is the opening course. And I've got a lot more planned. So more training courses coming, and some of them will be applied. So applied meaning that we'll be doing step-by-step walkthroughs on different applications in crypto. So get in there if you want a good conceptual overview. Watch that beginners course. Fantastic, and it is really covering a lot of amazing topics. By the time you finish it, you'll have a very good grasp of what's happening in crypto. So get on that for sure. All right. So without further ado, let's see who's in the chat there before we get into the show. We've got a lot to talk about. We're going to be talking about the crypto market, of course, the SEC, and we're going to talk about Bitcoin, and we're going to talk about, obviously, Pulse Chain, FINFESTA, and VOX. We're going to be talking about Titanx as well, where that's at also. So get in there, folks. All right, let's see who's in the house there. We've got ESSS in the house there. I got to work out how to pronounce your name, really, to be honest. VOX is here. Never fear. VOX to the moon, says ES. I'm just going to call you ES. How about that? VOX to the moon. That's the way we go. And of course, what is it? Shout out from the Voxes. We will be heard absolutely there and doing amazing, isn't it? The old Vox. We're going to talk about that today. We have Vox chats in the Discord too, by the way. So if you're from the Vox community, get into our Discord and get in there. And they also talk about FINFESTA and other stuff. So, and we've got the very famous MV in there. MV, he's becoming very famous now in this space. So join up there too. You can talk to MV all day. We got the Hexcavator in the house there from the big old USA. Hey gang, good to see Hexcavator. Big shout out. And who else there? Brian as well. What's up, folks? Our community leader, Brian. Always a pleasure to have Brian in the house. He's the community leader on YouTube and on Discord, along with our alien galaxy friend Wookie. He's out there too. We got Richard Front in the house there. Vox. Woohoo! And Hedgehog as well. Good to see Hedgehog. Always excited too. Woo! Let's get exciting as well. And what else there? We got SES says Vox. You know what it is. Indeed. We're going to be talking about it today. All right. ESSS says sounds good, bro. Yes, it is. Yeah, it's easier for me to say. That's all I'm saying. We got Kent's in the house. Hello, sir, from the FINFESTA OG group. Hey, fantastic. Good to see you in there. Now, I've just joined the FINFESTA Telegram just about 5 minutes ago. So you'll see me have just popped in there. Hashtag Superman in the house. So good to be in the FINFESTA Telegram there. Big shout out. All right, so let's get into the show, and let's kick off with the stock market quickly and the inflation data, which was really good news. Obviously, with Trump's tariffs, he's been transitioning the world and reordering it, and of course that causes volatility. It's given us a pullback in the stock market, about 12%, somewhere in that ballpark, particularly around the NASDAQ, about 12% on NASDAQ. So let's get into where the markets are today. But before we do that, let me just get something set up there. And what else there? We got Matt and Noel. I got to say hello to Matt. Hi all. Good to see you, Matt. Great to see you in the chat, by the way. And we also got Brennan, our TA guru, and one of our moderators also. Howdy, folks. Good to see you, Brennan. Hope you're doing well. And Matt says, unfortunately, got no investor, but I got remember rewards are insane. How about that? So remember, all part of that ecosystem, doing very well. Nice to hear that, Matt, by the way. All right, let's get into it without further ado. Let's kick into the stock market news. So this is great news for us in crypto. S&P 500 climbs on tech rebound as inflation cools. This is what we wanted to hear, man. We want strings of good news, and it's good to see this, right? So let's get into it. We've got, obviously, some pretty good news here. So tech led the broader market higher, with NVIDIA, of course, moving up. Obviously, one of the big seven there, the biggest of the seven, leading up to the upside with an 8% rally. So that's great news for NVIDIA. If you're not familiar with NVIDIA, they do AI chips. So that's going to be part of the next revolution. And honestly, it's only been a couple of years. We're going to be seeing AI robots walking around insane. Now, you already see them sort of walking around now. They're kind of that early stage. They're kind of impressive, but not quite there yet. But man, when they come out, man, it's going to be freaky, man, having AI robots walking around the streets. I mean, seriously, it's going to be freaky. And of course, there's a lot of positive civilian applications for them, but there's also a lot of military ones too, which are not so hot, right? But it's going to be weird. It's going to be really weird there as well. Now, I saw in London, there was a one of Elon Musk's robots. I just can't remember the name of his company. Let me know in the chat what his company ones are. But they have, there was some people were, protesting him, and of course they poured not much amount of gunk on the robot. But the robot looked amazing. I mean, honestly, looked really, really impressive there. So that's crazy. When we see those things walking around the streets, it's going to be crazy. Anyway, sentiment on risk assets were buoyed by cooling inflation data that helped ease stagflation concerns. U.S. consumer prices rose at a slower than anticipated rate in February, according to the government data on Wednesday. That will likely be closely monitored by the Federal Reserve, which is only about a week away for the Federal Reserve meeting with interest rates. And of course, we want to keep winning, right? We want to keep winning. Officials wary of the potential impact of Donald Trump's policies on inflation. Now, we know that potentially there's a short-term hit on the US with these rejigging of trade policies, but we already see countries backing down. So it's going to be probably maybe a month or two process where Trump reorders stuff with the tariffs. The headline consumer price index there, CPI, a key measure of inflation in the world's largest economy, came in at 2.8%. So that is the good news for the 12 months to ending February, cooling from 3% in January. So down from 3 to 2.8. That's a decent mark there. You guys know the target for the Federal Reserve is 2%. Although I do believe they should have a range like ours in New Zealand. We have a range of 1 to 3%. So that would put it right in there, right, the last 2 months. Month-on-month, the gauge eased to 0.2% from 0.5%, so that's really significant. That's come down a lot, and that's during the Trump tenure as well. And, of course, that's exciting. So economists had predicted 2.9 and 0.3 respectively, so that the market, these numbers came in better than the market expectations. So pretty cool. Stripping out volatile items like food and fuel, so-called core CPI was 3.1% year-on-year and 0.2% on a monthly basis. Both of these decelerated from the prior month and were below estimates. So that's good news there. Now, moving towards the Fed, taking in this information for the Fed, this shouldn't move the needle very much. Jeffrey said in a recent note on Wednesday, ahead of the Fed meeting, they can continue to maintain a patient stance while also standing ready to ease financial conditions should the labor market cool. Now, we always know that they typically mistime these things. So hopefully we will get, man, if we get a 25 basis point number there, that'd be very exciting. Now, we're going to go have a look at what the market expects around the interest rate cuts, because that's another bullish thing for crypto. So we're going to check that out. So yeah, elsewhere, Trump expanded tariffs on steel and aluminum came into effect on Wednesday. So that's all come in effect, marking the latest salvo into his drive to overhaul the U.S. trading relationship with both friends and foes alike. And sometimes with countries that actually have trade surpluses, like Ireland, for example. But it's about rejiggering, reorganizing the world and putting up barriers for manufacturing to come back into the US, right? That's kind of the idea. The commission said it would adopt a two-part countermeasures in response to the US tariffs. The first step will see the commission allow the suspension of previous retaliatory tariffs to lapse on April the 1st, a move that officials said would respond to economic harm done to 8 billion euros in EU steel and aluminium exports. Brussels also vowed to place fresh tariffs on the US exports from next month as an answer to new American levies slapped on more than 18 billion of EU exports. Now, this I think this is where one of the main battles is for the US is Europe. They have all these tariffs and stuff like that, and non-tariff barriers. And of course, Trump's actually trying to move ultimately to free trade, if you think about it, to some degree. But then, in some degree, not. Depends on who it is, right? Because he also wants to put barriers up to bring in high-tech manufacturing and things like that. So it's a bit of a give or take. Trump hit back saying he would respond to EU counter tariffs and vowing to absolutely put tariffs on imported cars from a single market. And as you guys know, Europe really doesn't take many cars from America. China's foreign ministry also said it would push to protect its interests, and a top official in Japan warned that the trade taxes could imperil economic ties with Washington and Canada, the largest supplier of steel and aluminum to the US, hit out at Trump's action and said it would impose 25% reciprocal tariffs on roughly 30 billion of Canadian imported US goods starting from March the 13th. Ontario later dropped the trade tax, and Trump backed down with his warning. Now, one of the taxes was on electricity supplied to the US, and that was going down into essential services. So Trump obviously gave them the hard word on that, and of course Canada backed off, right? So that's kind of where we are there. So that is the stock market. Let's see where the numbers were. The Dow Jones was down two tenths of a percent. So down 82 points to 41,350. The S&P 500 was actually up 0.5% on the good inflation news, up 27 points to 5,600, and the Nasdaq was up 1.2% on the good inflation news, up 212 points to 17,648. So good news all around for the stock market, and you've got to be happy about that. US dollar is strengthened a little bit. Man, it was so strong before, wasn't it? It was about 108, 10, something like that, and now it's 103.55. Obviously, after all the tariffs started getting used up. And of course, that is up 0.25% there on the US dollar index versus its trading partners. Now, in terms of oil, obviously, Trump wants to bring down oil to make the economy boom and to deal with inflation. At the moment, we've got West Texas at $67.70 and Brent oil at $70.93. So that's those are up a little bit on the oil, right? They're up a little bit there, I think. Let's have a look at the weekly. They're up a little bit there, as you can see on the weekly chart. Gold at the moment is pretty flat at 2,944, but it's getting ready for that 3,000 mark. You guys know it, right? You know that gold's getting ready for $3,000. Silver, of course, is at $33.73, and we're expecting big things for silver in the year ahead. And of course, we'll see what happens if interest rates come down even further. That would certainly accelerate. So those are the commodities at the moment. But let's jump over to what is the view on the Fed rate monitor with interest rates, because that's the next big thing, right? And then we're going to jump into crypto after this. So let's have a look. So we've got 6 days and 18 hours to go until the Fed rate decision on the 19th of March. So put that in your calendar. We were expecting 96% before the inflation data came out of a no change. So that means the Fed fund rate would be 4.5%. It is still it's actually gone up to 98%. So even with that good inflation data, no one's expecting an interest rate cut in March. So it would be a nice surprise if it does happen, and that would be good for the markets. I think they probably could do another 25 basis points. I think that'd be quite good. That would get us down to 4.25, but at the moment that is not the case. In May, we've got even more. So we had 2/3 of the market before the inflation came out. Now that's at 72%. So it's actually more people are not expecting a change to the interest rates even in May. So that's even got stronger. So let's have a look at June, and we're getting a nice surprise. So it's not until June the 18th that the majority of the market is expecting an interest rate cut, and that's up 25 basis points. So let's see how we get it on. Obviously, I think it'd be quite nice. That would probably help us avert a recession as well. Now, as you may have seen, I posted on X platform that the Morgan Stanley is expecting a 40% chance of recession, which, if you guys know what a technical recession is, it's two quarters of negative GDP growth. So that's basically 6 months. And let's hope that doesn't happen. Their current forecast, that's actually up from 30%, and that's mostly due to the tariffs from Trump reorganizing things. But they're expecting GDP growth of about 1.7, 1.8%. And of course, as you guys know, Trump is reordering things to get GDP a 3% or above, because that's going to have massive ramifications on the US budget deficit, and of course getting to neutrality, which is where he's heading. And of course, Dodge is playing a key role on the cost side to get there, right? $2 trillion, $1 trillion with Dodge, that would get you to 1 trillion, increase the GDP and deal with some other costs, and you can get yourself to a balanced budget and then move into a balanced budget surplus would be the idea after that, and pay down debt, right? That's a big thing there. One of the big things, of course, coming up as well, many of you may not know, is that out of the $36.5 trillion of US debt, $7 trillion is coming up for interest rate renewal. And of course, if you have a recession, you get interest rates you get the Fed being forced to go to do rate cuts during sort of a recessionary period where labor market's under some attack. Then you would then get interest rate lowers, and therefore the US would be able to fix their debt again at lower rates because the rates are still relatively high. So that's kind of the idea as well. So we'll see what happens in that space. Yeah, big stuff happening on the bigger picture. So yeah, let's move on to crypto. Before we do that though, let's get back in the chat and see who else has jumped in here. Let's see. We've got Next in the house there with the $2 super sticker. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Is that a pound or a euro? I think it's a pound, isn't it? It's been a while since I looked at those. I think it's a pound. VOX Finance is here for Pulse Chain. Oh, geez, how about that? Fox Finance. Yeah, and it's doing great, isn't it? Isn't it doing fantastic? So the latest farm on Pulse Chain, and it's been doing very well. We're going to be talking about that. Chris Corrigal in the house there. We've got huge fan of FINFESTA. Remember, Missile and Monomics. And hopefully my accent's not too bad. Thanks for all you do on the stream. I appreciate that, Chris. Thank you very much. We got Nick says VOX still have 4,000K plus APR farms. Yeah, so the APRs are still looking very, very good on the old VOX, and we're going to cover that later on. VOX and Bull is insane. Yeah, so Bull's come onto the market there. We're going to check that out maybe as well. Haven't actually saved that, so I might have to check that out. But Bull is being saved from the dev. Dev rugged it, and it looks like the VOX community is saving it. And so we're going to check out, see where that's at as well. We're looking at that in the Discord yesterday. So if you haven't joined up to the Discord, links in the video description. Only $12.50 a month to become part of the best crypto community. It is a really safe place in there too. We pride ourselves in creating a safe space for people to do crypto, and I've talked politics and all sorts of other stuff. We talk about it all. So we've also got some pretty popular people like MV in there. So join up today. All right. So Vox Farms earned me almost $1,000 passively in 3 days. Amazing yield, says ES there. Nice. I think the Vox printer broke down. It keeps printing me yield, says ES. That's very cool. Yeah, it's doing very well. All right. So let's get back into it. Let's get into the crypto. Bam. All right. So we got Bitcoin at $83,597. It is up 1% at the moment, and the dominance is sitting at 60%. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It's almost altcoin season. Now, if you guys remember back in 2021, the Bitcoin dominance was about 70%, and then altcoin season started. Now, I'm not expecting that quite now because it's obviously been delayed with the special event, as I call it, of Trump and the tariff reorganization. But 60% dominance, wow, that's pretty impressive. $83,600 up 1%. So Bitcoin's still holding up pretty well. You can't complain, taking out Bitcoin's old high from the 2021 and now up at 83,600, even though it's down from 108,000, which is where we were. It's actually for Bitcoin maxis, this is a great result. It's still holding up pretty well there. Now, the downside targets, we know that I've got on my horizontal chart. We're going to talk about that in a minute, and also some other analysts that have it down a bit further than mine. But that's the downside. The upside is still always upside, right? So we'll see how we get on there. Now, ETH has really been, relatively speaking, the poor performer. And of course, there are some problems with it, with the EVM chains, eating some of its lunch and things like that, sort of a victim of its own success. But it's still got a lot of the institutional support, still got a heavy amount of smart contract activity. And so I think still got a pretty bright future there. I do think it has to do some changes to the tokenomics on it, but besides that, is doing very, very well. Now, BNB is up 3% at $570. Solana there is up a third of a percent, $126. ADA is up 0.8%, is it? Yeah, at 73 cents. We've got XRP. Now, we're going to be talking about XRP because there's some news around that with the SEC. That is up 2.4% at $2.22. Tron is down 0.7% at 22.3 cents. So those are some of our leaders there. And let's talk about Tron. Litecoin at 0.8% there, up at $91.48. So those are kind of our majors at the moment. Now, I don't know if you guys are too familiar, but have you guys been mining Pi on Pi Network? It finally came out, right? It was in the last month it came out. I think it's been trading for a couple of weeks. That's up 25% today at $1.76. Now, I really don't like it. Now, it's very big, and I participated in it, but the problem I have with it is that I think it's out of a team like Harvard University or something, and they're all just such, I don't know, Democratic type people, and you know that they want KYC and they want verification and all sort of stuff. But money talks, right? So I don't know if they can build up their commercial network. It could be very, very good. Anyway, that's up 25% at $1.76. So let me know in the chat if you were mining Pi on Pi Network and you had to get verified KYC and everything else. Let us know in the chat if you actually participated in that. Because you've probably made pretty good at the moment. The price has been pretty good. I mean, it's been over, I think, $2.50 or something. It's $1.76 at the moment. But that is ticking away there at the moment. So let me know. All right, let's jump away into the SEC and XRP. So it looks like, under Trump, of course, we know that they're going to move from lawfare to just clarity around regulations. And so they've been dropping a lot of court cases. And it looks like the SEC's enforcement case against Ripple may also be wrapping up as well. So that's very, very cool. So that's the report at the moment. And it looks like the SEC may be preparing to end its enforcement action against Ripple Labs after more than 4 years of abuse by the Biden administration and the SEC. It's Gary Gensler. Boo, Gary Gensler. Get out. He's out anyway. So that's kind of where we are. So according to a March 12th post there from Fox Business reporter Talon Terrett, the SEC's case against Ripple was in the process of wrapping up after the parties filed an appeal and a cross appeal, respectively, over the $125 million court judgment in August 2024. So, Ripple's one's a little bit more complicated than some of the others because it's already got this monetary judgment against it. So the civil case against the blockchain firm filed in December 20 alleged Ripple and certain executives used XRP as an unregistered security to raise funds, etc. So I'm not going to go through the whole of this article, but if you want to read that, that's on a Cointelegraph, and I will post it in the chat there. But it's kind of good news. This is probably one of the more complicated cases with some of the big players, and it's getting dropped. And this is what we expect to happen on the 20th of March with the 20-day window for people for the SEC to take, to re-litigate the case against Richard Hart and Polstrand. So this is just more good news, isn't it? More good news about that. So there we go. You can read the full article. But basically, this is kind of heading in the right direction. The article is quite a big one, so we're not going to read the whole thing today. But there we go. All right. So that is it. And let's have a look at Bitcoin where it is. So, good news for XRP. And we might see that start to rally. And we've got $83,446 on Bitcoin at the moment. So that's not too bad. And like I say, I've got my support line down here at 72,500. And you can see why it's there on horizontal. We've got all this resistance there, which arguably becomes support, right? And of course, we do have some other analysts out there that are, like Tom Lee's analyst and a few other out there that have about 62, 63 as the support level. Of course, none of us really hope we get there, but you just never know sometimes when a downtrend is aggressively on. But I'm still feeling a little bit optimistic. That being said, we know that reciprocal tariffs are coming in on the 2nd of April, so we're going to probably have some continued volatility there as well. So we'll see how that goes. Now, if we get good news around these negotiations that are happening in the back rooms, as it were, with the US, then that might all soften down, and maybe we can bounce from 72,000 or more. Maybe we won't even go below 80,000. We have been to 78 to 76. So let's see where we hold up there. Fingers crossed. We are also expecting some monetary expansion for Q2 as well, so that should help buffer April as well. Also, rumors on the street is that a lot of institutional money is coming in April into the second quarter of the year, so things could really start flying there. So fingers crossed that we don't continue to zigzag down to 72 or even to 63, and that we can sort of consolidate here above, say, 676 and move to the upside once we get through this little tariff negotiations, as it were. So fingers crossed on that. Now, in terms of Bitcoin returns, let's see where we are. For the month of March, we're only down 1.38%, so that's an improvement. We were down about 6 to 8%, so that's kind of improved. And we're 12 days through, so we've still got quite a way to go through March. So we'll see how that ends up. I'm still a little bit more bullish, even with the tariffs, about the second half of March, but we'll see how that goes. Obviously, the Trump is a special event, and it can extend the bull market. It can disrupt the bull market, and that's what we're seeing. Because typically, February would have been a very green month, and so would have March based on the last 4 years. So we'll see where we head. Things are shaking up this time. Maybe it's going to be a bit delayed, right? So let's see what April, May, and June brings us after March, but we've still got quite a bit of March to go as well. All right, let's jump into the ETFs. Well, corporate funds here have been selling off. We can see that pretty clear. They've been selling off for a couple of weeks now, and of course, they've been following the price down there and helping the price go down too. So that's kind of where we are. But we all know that Michael Saylor and US states are all trying to get approvals for capital raises and portfolio allocations into crypto, into Bitcoin, and we know they're rushing to do that in the states, and it could be upwards of how much is it? I think it's something like 73, but just kind of trying to remember that number. 73. It's probably about 300,000 Bitcoin. That's probably the mark there in terms of Bitcoin. And in terms of billions of dollars, it's something, I think it's 78 billion or something like that. And of course, for every billion, it's like a 3 to 6% increase in the price. So it could be exciting stuff coming up. And if those bills get passed, we could start seeing that money, I guess, in Q2. We really might start lifting up the markets there. So we'll keep tabs on that. As you guys know, we've been kind of tracking that. So let's see the turnaround. Could be quite violent, right? That's what some people are expecting. Quite a violent turnaround for the continuation of the bull market, because they really haven't seen it yet, right? So let's see. 108K was kind of a teaser, but we're expecting bigger things this year. 150 to maybe even 500K. We shall see. It's going to be a lot of fun there. Now, moving to Pulse Chain, Richard Hart, of course, the founder of Pulse Chain there, the defeater of the SEC. It says, another one of these emails to your congressman for this week's vote. Stand with Crypto Alliance is a non-profit organization dedicated to uniting global crypto advocates. So if you want to help stand for that, send this out as well. You can participate in that. That's Richard is fighting for crypto, as we say, fighting for crypto. So let's push that in the chat there as well. From Richard Hart, the founder of Pulse Chain. Now, let's get into a few more comments before we get deep dive into the Pulse Chain. Got a couple more comments in the chat there as we move forward. We're going to be talking about FINFESTA next, and VOX Farm crushing it lately on the old Pulse Chain. Let's see where we're up to here. We've got Tintop in the house there. What's up, Hexagon? So good to see you, Tintop. Welcome to the chat. And we've got Brennan as well. 8 days left until the SEC can respond to RH case. Yeah, so that's also another catalyst for FINFESTA and VOX as well, no doubt. Is that? So we're looking forward to that. The Fighting Marine says, "What's the good news? Inflation. Inflation came in really low, 2.8% versus 3%. So good news there." And maybe I don't know. Will we get a surprise from the Fed? Well, the market doesn't think so. But let's see what happens. Maybe 25 basis points. You can hold out. I'm not saying that as a probability, but this is a hope. Just a hope. We got Kent's in the house there. I was an OG pioneer with Pi, with it in the 4 figures area, unit wise. But unfortunately, I didn't know the lock in would start when the transfer happened to mainnet. So now I've got to wait to 2028. I see. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. That's really good insight there, actually, Kent. Yeah, there were some big ones there. So, they did extend it too, didn't they? They extend it to like February or something. But if you've still got tokens, looks like you can still get access to that. So, yeah, not bad. Nice work there. Appreciate that info there. That is Pi Network. And it's doing pretty well out of the box, actually. It's doing pretty well. All right, so let's get back into Pulse Chain and start talking about that. And let's move on to the results. So we got Pulse at the moment on day 670. Can you believe it? 670 days. What's that? Since about the 12th of May, 2023, something like that. And we got Pulse price at the moment, quadruple 0347. It is flat today at 35% of the mean sacrifice price. We've got PulseX at the moment, quadruple 0319. That is up a third of a percent. The buy and burn is still crushing it. 103 trillion, 500, almost 6 billion there. PulseX bought up and burned 6.58% of the supply. Incentive token is down 2%, $1.90. And the ratio is just under 55,000 Pulse. So I think that's still pretty decent, but certainly down from where it was. I think it was like up at 68,000 or something at some stage. The total supply, 55 million tokens. And we all know that the inflation was cut by Richard Hart's team by 20x. So it's only 5% of what it used to be. And therefore, it's only inflating very, very low. And of course, it's had quite a bigger impact on the PulseX farms on V1. And I think it was the first couple of days, it was like 40% of the value went off. And then slowly the yields went down quite dramatically as well, which makes VOX farm yields so terrific compared to the PulseX farm ones, right? Which are extremely low now for the most part. So yeah, that is crazy. So another catalyst there for VOX. Hex at the moment is at 9/10 of a penny, down 3%. EHEX is at 27/100 of a penny. Combined price EX and PX is just below 1.2 cents at 1.17. And yeah, that is down today. But such a good buy for Hex at the moment. And of course, we know that the OA wallet, sacrifice wallets, were staking, and they've lowered the yield from about 7.5 Hex per T share all the way down to about just under 2 Hex per T share. That is dramatic. Of course, that's upset a lot of people, but it's also something that we knew could happen as the OA sacrifice wallets are kind of like regulators of the Hex contract, and a bit like the Federal Reserve. Boo, the Federal Reserve. All right, so that's where we're going there. We've got gas prices at the moment, but will it pump Hex? Will it help pump Hex with the less supply being to the retail, right? So that's kind of the idea. Now, as you guys know, gas prices have been rocketing on Pulse Chain, and that's a sign of a more valuable chain. And Richard Hart said that would happen at some stage, and it's definitely been happening. We can see that in the chart. Like, look at all these spikes on the chart lately, and we're up at 7.7 billion beats, million beats, I should say, not billions. And the price at the moment, 10 cents. I think we were at 3 cents yesterday, 10 cents today for a PulseX swap. But of course, if you wait for later in the day, the prices can drop below again. I think they drop below 1 cent. Now, we're 7 times cheaper than Ethereum, and Ethereum's at 1 Gwei. So how the world has turned, eh? How the world has turned. Validators at the moment is 48,200, and we've been creeping up on the validators as well. So these are all signs that Pulse Chain is getting more valuable, right? So we win the SEC case. We've got gas prices getting a bit more expensive. We've got more validators coming on. We've got some specialized ecosystems like FINFESTA and VOX and stuff like that coming on. It's pretty good environment, especially with the market being down as well. Now moving to the bridge, this is kind of our health check. Oh, we've gone below 100 million. That's the first day. We've gone below 100 million there, 99.7 million there. Let's see where it's all at there. We've got DIEs definitely come down a little bit. We're at 25 and a quarter million DIE. EHEX, of course, is down a bit today. And what else is happening there? ETH is down a little bit there. Bitcoin's up slightly. But the big news that happened yesterday was Coast went over $9 million. So that's been really interesting. Coast, which is one of the native stablecoins, it's the only stablecoin based on fiat backing, and it is been creeping up. That's really interesting. So up to $9 million. So congratulations to the Coast team. It's a lot of work to get the Coast thing up. You're going to get the banking arrangements and everything else. So well done to them. And they're such a good team. And they also have crypto help as well. So doing pretty well there. Not bad. But as you guys know, we got 4 native stablecoins on Pulse Chain. We got USDL backed by Pulse, PXDC backed by PulseX, HEXDC backed by Hex, and Coast backed by fiat dollars. And of course, as you guys know, that's great to have 3 liquidity forks and a fiat stablecoin, but we're waiting for the true algorithmic coin, and that is PUSD ALGO. And if you want to get a 19% bonus referral there, get the link in the video description and start winning today. If you do $1,000 inclusive of that referral bonus, you will get the second bonus called Bonus X, and that could be up to 2x. It's a random number, up to 2x, and that could be huge. And as you guys know, PUSD ALGO, I think, is going to rock on Pulse Chain, and it's going to be a true peg. It's going to be a true peg because you can see at the moment USDL is below peg, PXDC is below peg. HEXDC today is, funnily enough, at a peg at the moment, so that's good news for HEXDC, but it's often below peg or above peg, and Coast is also below peg slightly as well. But PUSD ALGO is probably going to be pretty much at peg, just like we saw in the testnet a year ago. And of course, Signum Oracle is ready to go. We got an update from Signum Oracle today from Stu, and it is ready to go. He's just waiting for the right timing. And so that's exciting. Once Signum Oracle goes live, we know that PUSD updated map for launching is going to get out there as well. So if you want to become part of the PUSD community, get in there. The link's in the description. Get a 90% bonus. The other thing, of course, is that it's going to be a DeFi platform, so stablecoin DeFi platform. It's basically Terra Luna, but done right. And the big thing about this, it could scale really huge compared to the liquidity forks that we've got up here, and also the Coast back one as well. So you can get in there. I've got plenty of videos on the channel here. Just type in PUSD ALGO, check them out, read the documents as well on the website, and you can sacrifice today. Basically, a contribution. Really, I don't see it as a sacrifice. Up to 75% of the money will be going into the LP pools straight away on day one. And of course, this is a project by Jacob, a well-known a dev on Pulse Chain, and pretty much the number one peer-to-peer dev in the world, which we're lucky to have. So check that out. So that's pretty cool. Let's look at the volumes on Pulse Chain. So we're going to get to FINFESTA in a second. I got FINFESTA queued up there right now. But let's go to the Pulse Chain results for the market, and we'll get into FINFESTA and VOX next. So let's jump over to the links here. Now, Pulse Chain at the moment is number 5 on Dick Screener on the rankings, which is pretty cool. We got $21 million in volume today, so it's pretty low, especially during a weekday, right? But that's probably the lowest we've seen for quite some time, actually. We got transactions, though, are fairly good at 298,000. The best performers at the moment over the last 24 hours on trending 6 hours is Jupiter. It's up 200%. That's pretty cool. That's been around for 5 months. DAI there, I think this is a pump.tires DAI. That's been rallying as well, up 64%. Isn't that crazy? That's doing pretty well. We've got Hex at the moment. This is also looks like Pump Tires Hex. So these are all basically clones on Pump Tires, which Pump Tires, if you're not familiar, is Richard Hart's platform. That's up 56%. Lady Gaga has been around for 6 months. It's up 18%. Die Hard there is up 11%. And that, I think you earned PDI with that. Yeah, you earned PDI with Die Hard. That is up 11% as well. And then we've got Pump Tires, which is kind of the main token for Pump Tires. That is up 9.7%. So we've got a few movers there. Also doing pretty well today is Teddy Bear, up 8.6%. And obviously FINFESTA, which we're going to be talking about also, is up 5 to 8%, depending on the pair. And also UFO, which is related to PDGC project, one of the best projects also on Pulse Chain. That is up 7%, although we're seeing PDGC take a bit of a profit taking recently. So that could be some good opportunities for people to get in as well. Now, if you haven't joined our strategy club, get in there, folks. The link's in the video description. Only $35 a month. And of course, you also get the community membership as well for free as well, which is $12.50. So get in there today. The link's in the video description to Discord and become part of an awesome community. We've got a great bunch of people. It is awesome, safe, and talking crypto nonstop, as well as other cool topics as well. Politics, sports, and stuff. Pretty neat. All right, so that's also sort of stuff leading at the moment. So let's have a look at that. Actually, we got Solid X down at $9.40. Let's see what happens there. I'm still waiting for that crash game from Eric from DragonX. We'll see how that goes moving forward. Now, we've also got Remember, and of course, some people have been loving the divs on here on Remember, and that's all part of the FINFESTA ecosystem, right? If you got Remember, you earn Pulse rewards just by holding it, and it kind of every so often will drop in your wallet. It's kind of cool. And at the moment, the volume's still ticking away pretty nice. 404K of 24-hour volume, still doing pretty well. Liquidity at 187, market cap at 27 million. And that's still ticking away there. Let's go to the daily. I've got it on the 15-minute chart for some reason. That is the daily chart. So the price is still holding up pretty well here on Remember, and doing pretty well there. And jump to the website. And I encourage you to join the Telegrams as well, just so you get part of the community. If there's any new information from the team that might add value to you, you can always get that early too by being in Telegram. So definitely check out the Telegrams there. But pretty cool project there as well. So not bad. All right, so let's jump over to FINFESTA, which we're going to talk about next. So FINFESTA here, crushing it. For FINFESTA, another one of those family tokens there, and you can see the chart's looking pretty damn good as well. So yeah, remember, these are the hot ones on Pulse Chain right now, really dominating the ecosystem. And look at that chart, doing very well indeed. So it's gone all the way from 5 cents back here on the 5th of September. And if you remember, it's all the way up here at $42, looking pretty good. They had a bit of a pullback here, getting some support range. It's got good support above $30. Just remember, this is crypto, so there is, it's all speculative pretty much, some more than others. But just take that into account. You must always do your own due diligence and investigate thoroughly before ever, risking any money, and only ever risk what you can afford to lose. That's some of the rules in crypto. And of course, you'll find out some of those rules in the new training program, Crypto for Beginners, and the link to that is in the video description. That's just been launched today, so you're the first to get access to that. So really just a soft launch, but that's going to be pushed quite a bit moving forward. So yeah, we got 407K volume here on FINFESTA, 43 million market cap, 510,000 liquidity, so quite a bit higher there, and it's doing pretty well. And like I say, you should check it out. you earn a pulse there, right? No, pulse for the other one for FINFESTA. I think you earn FINFESTA. And that's ticking away there. So let's have a great look here. It's got a 4% burn tax and 1% FINFESTA reflections. Goes back to the holders. So you're earning FINFESTA for this one. With the remember, you're earning Pulse. So you could have a bit of both of these, and you'll be earning there. Deflationary design exposed to PRC20 wave theory system, and of course you can launch the DApp there and get all the details. And it's got farms and staking and stuff like that. And you can claim your rewards. There's all the details: 3% buy, sell, transfer tax, 1% for investor rewards there, 1% buy and burn, BFF Infinity there, 1% self burn to offset inflation, and so on. So your starting supply 369 with APY from daily inflation of 0.76 tokens, hard cap 555k there as well. So not bad. That is FINFESTA. So you can definitely check that out. Now I'll post the link to that in the chat there if you guys haven't got it to the website, and you can hit everything up there. Let's see who else have we got in the chat here. We got next in the house there, VOX. Yeah, we're talking about VOX next. We got MVS's morning for investor Fox family. Yeah, absolutely morning to everybody. And don't forget to smash the subscribe button while you're watching. And of course, hit the like buttons, hit the bell, and Discord's in the video description there. And you're going to meet MV. He's in the house in Discord and loves this space. He loves the space and is all over it. So definitely check him out. We're going to talk about one of his posts in a minute. Imagine a money printer. Imagine VOX is next. Who else there? We got ES in the house there. Says VOX. We got Media Player as well. Says VOX with the fire. I like that. I like the attitude. Not bad, not bad. All right, so let's move on. That is FINFESTA. Check it out. And as I always say, join the Telegram. That's probably the best way to get a lot of intel from the team there. Very, very cool. You can read all the details here, deflationary, etc. So get on that one as well. And of course, you can join the Telegram at the bottom there and join X as well. Get all the latest from FINFESTA. Definitely one of the hottest, best performing projects, as you can see in the chart at the moment. Now, once again, do your homework before participating. All right, let me just move over here. We got FINFESTA here. We've got obviously all the details on X. You can see all the latest stuff. There's a cool little video here from a guy called Zach. I think we know Zach actually. And he's sort of video on learning the secrets of the FINFESTA ecosystem. So if you want to find out how it works, he's got a bit of his insights into it. So it's definitely well worth checking that out as well. So definitely hit up on the X and check that out. There's a lot of good resources there. You should go through everything and before you ever decide to get into stuff. Just remember that no matter what project I'm talking about, really up to you what you do. And I'm just covering some of these absolutely amazing performing projects at the moment. All right, so that is it there, and you got some cool stuff in there. So check it out. There we go. Lots of cool things in there. All right, so that's from FINFESTA. We're going to move on to VOX next. VOX is also doing extremely well on the old protocol. So we're going to go to VOX Finance here. So I'm going to post VOX in the chat there as well if you want to check it out. So this is the VOX on X. And, once again, it's really, if you're going to be in crypto, you got to do your research and got to do the right things there to understand what you're doing. So that is the VOX one there. VOX is a farm on Pulse Chain, and basically you supply different tokens into the PulseX V2 farms, and then you get what you get. For doing that, they give you LP tokens, liquidity provider tokens, and that goes to your wallet. And then you can take those tokens, you can go connect to the VOX farm, and you'll be able to start earning farm yields as a bonus, and they are huge potentially, right? So very, very exciting there. So some of the key metrics here on VOX, we got 1 million plus liquidity, yield generated 500k, and tokens burned $1 million worth. So it's ticking away there with some of the cool stuff there. It's got burnt liquidity, automated yields. It's got DeFi 3.0, no staking or lockups required, accelerated contracts, boosted ecosystem health, and buy and burn metrics. Just hold or add liquidity to earn. And it's got lots of different tokens in there. So pretty cool. And of course, you can read all about it on the website. So I'm going to post the website as well to check out VOX. Let's post that. Bam. And let's see. That is VOX. And what I'm going to do is when a code click out, you can connect your wallet up. And once you've done your due diligence, of course, and then we're going to go to farms and have a look at some of the key metrics here. So where's it at the moment? 808,000 TVL. So that's going up real nicely. Last night, before I tuned in for the evening, this was sitting at about 640,000, somewhere like that. So it's gone up quite a bit. What's that, about 200 or something, maybe 150,000, something like that. Maybe 150,000 since yesterday. So that's doing very nice, heading towards that $1 million mark. Not bad. Now, the total supply at the moment, 91,961 VOX. The emission rate for the farm, so that's the farm reward, is 0.1 per second, and that gets allocated to these farms individually, right? So important to know that. So one VOX at the moment will cost you about 195,500 pulse. That's kind of the equivalence there. And you can see the farm's been verified and the incentive token's been verified as well. And you can obviously check that up as also. Now, the top farm at the moment with top yield is a Wrap Bitcoin VOX, and that has got an allocation of 1x, and there's 0 fees to enter it. So you're not losing any LP tokens there. APR is 4,450%. Now, about 3 days ago, this was up like 30,000%, but this is normal for farms. As more people put liquidity in there, as the TVL goes up, then the yields are going to slowly come down, subject to where the price of the incentive token, in this case the VOX token, if that goes up in price, then it lifts the APR as well, right? So just remember, it's got competing things. You should understand that. Now, you can obviously approve and stake your LP tokens in here, and you can claim your rewards as well with the claim button there. So it's kind of fairly easy and intuitive to operate there. And of course, there's a Wrap Bitcoin VOX farm. That's the best APR at the moment. So still very, very strong APR. And if we compare that to PulseX farms, of course, at the moment, which have come down, probably sub 10%, and some of them only a few percentage points. This is 4,450%, which is pretty awesome, right? So doing pretty amazing on the APRs. And obviously that will change as time goes forward, as more liquidity goes in, etc. So just take that into account. But pretty much, 4,450% is like getting 12% of your capital back a day. That's kind of the numbers there at the moment. Now, obviously, we've got a VOX PulseX farm, we've got a Pulse DIEX farm. They're all still over 4,000% APR. We've got about $66,000 in each of these. Then we've got the VOX incentive farm. And what else? We've got VOX Pulse. So those are all the VOX farms. So there's 5 of those, and they've all got about 150K in the VOX Pulse one. That's the biggest one, so a lot of TVL in there. And the APRs are just under 4,000%, 3,900, 3,700% there as well. And then we get into the non-VOX farms. So if you want less risk with the VOX token value, for example, you can go into these other tokens, right? So you can go into PulseX and Incognito. That's 3,500%. That's not bad. So if you're a big believer in Incognito, remember if you put your tokens into the PulseX V2 farms, you still got the impermanent loss issue about ratio trading and stuff like that. Remember that. But other than that, the yields are looking pretty good. 40K in there. Then we've got 3 other farms right at the moment: Pulse DIE and PulseX Pulse and Incentive PulseX. So, some of these you may not care about, particularly the PulseX Pulse. You may not care too much about that. And so that's at 835%. So you can put your tokens in there. You've got very little risk relative, because you're just swapping between these two. You don't have the risk of the VOX token itself, which has been doing very, very well. But just to give you that idea there, APR is 1,400% for Pulse DIE, 835% for PulseX Pulse, and the 345% for Incentive PulseX. So that's the less riskier one, because you're not attached to the value of VOX, but your APR is attached to the value of VOX, right? And the amount of total TVL going into these pools. So that's kind of a quick overview. There's some big numbers in these pools, of course. 100,000 in the Pulse DIE, 168,000 in the PulseX Pulse, and 81,000 in the Incentive PulseX. But of course, these yields are so damn attractive. Let's see how high the TVL will go, how much liquidity LP tokens will go in these farms. Very exciting. We can see the price has been doing pretty well as well. So this is the price here on the 15-minute. Let me go to the hourly there. I think it just defaults to 15 minutes sometimes. I don't know why it does that. But that's the price chart so far. So we had a big rally here. We started off at 3 cents back here on the 8th of March at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, my time. And then it just rallied all the way up to $4.50. Came back down, sort of drifted down here. These are on the hourly candles, by the way. Drifted down to $2.34, and then rallied all the way up to $8.26, and then has come down back to $6.66, back up to $7, almost $8, and then back down to $6.73 at the moment. So that's kind of where it is at the moment. So just take that into account relative to the APRs of the farms, and of course you got to keep monitoring those as well. Like I say, there are the non-VOX farms. If you want less risk, you just put your tokens in there and you just benefit from the VOX minting there. And so we see now, obviously, the other thing is community growth and capital players coming in as well. That's very, very important. So that's kind of where the farm is at the moment. So I'll post the link to the farm, even though I've posted the website. I'll post the link to the farm there too, so you can check that out also. And let's get some noise in the chat there as well. Getting a bit quiet there in the chat, but here is the VOX farm. Bam. You can get in there today. So, but you basically go to PulseX and provide some liquidity in V2 farms relative to these pairs. So you decide which pair you want to get into, and then you can go and put LP, provide liquidity of those two pairs. It'll take out PulseX and Pulse, for example, out of your wallet. You will get a 2% fee on your LP tokens that you get from the PulseX farms. And just remember, but then you've got an APR to offset that of 835%. So let's see what that's worth at the moment. So that's about 2.3% of your capital back a day if you go on the PulseX Pulse farms there. Once again, do your own due diligence. Brennan says, VOX adding bull to farm still? Well, I don't know. MV, are you in the house? MV might know that. He's in our community in the Discord. So I think that is still happening because we've seen some good posts there from VOX. MV says, yeah, there we are. Straight away, it's on the right roadmap. So that's really bullish for bull. So we're going to talk about that. I guess we'll try and pull that chart up as well. Some people may not know about that, right? Some people may not know about that. So that's good news. All right, so that is where we are there. Let's have a look on the actual VOX here. And we're going to have a look at some of these. So an hour ago, 2 hours ago, TVL growing. So they're pretty excited about that. That was a good Incognito posting that out. Yeah, and says, Incognito says, I'm generally impressed with the conviction and commitment for the bull. This is the token that we're talking about at the moment. Now, Bull had this rug feature from the dev, but then that's been saved by the community, right? So it had 5% fees, 3.75% Pulse X yield, so you're earning Pulse X over there, and a 0.25% Pulse X burn, 1% self burn, and 2x rewards as an LP. So pretty cool, and looks like they're doing some stuff there. So yeah, let's check it out. So we still have not added it to the VOX farm there, so that's definitely coming up, Brennan. This is from Incognito. I'm genuinely impressed with the conviction and commitment of the bull has displayed along with the efforts of Toshi ecosystem to revive the damage that was done by the founder, abandoning the community. And of course, from 9,000K market cap to 107K market cap so far, and we still have not added it to the VOX farm. So that is coming down the line there. So this may be your last chance to grab it at lows. So this is talking about the bull token. So talking about that and so on. So that is still in the mix. Kind of cool. All right, so let's pull that up. That's the old bull there at the moment that was previously set up. And let's see what else is going on here. We've got Crypto Bro says, at some point, even science begins to communicate. He's talking to Kevin Optimus Trayvon or whatever. We've got Vox DeFi for loud yields on RH tickers. Absolutely. Really crushing at the moment. Vox is the ultimate money printer. Yeah, doing pretty damn well. And so on. So kind of cool. So that is happening there. And let's move over to MVS. So MVS also talked about this. He's in the chat at the moment. And if you haven't followed him, give him a follow. And of course, share the post around. So let's post this in the chat. And bam, that's it there. So you can check that out. That is MVS. Says VOP airdrop alert. MV, how's this airdrop going? Do you know the time frame? Let us know in the chat there because he's on the front of all this. Holding VOX got even better. It's time for a community airdrop. If you hold 150 VOX, you will receive an airdrop of VBurn, a new token designed to yield and burn VOX, making it even more deflationary. If you own 369 VOX or more, you'll receive a double airdrop of both VBurn and OG. Let's be clear, this won't be cheap airdrop. We're making it worth your while. Are you ready for the pump? So let us know what the status of that is. Let's send VOX to $100. Obviously, it's peaked out just over $8 at the moment, so definitely check that out. You can start on the farm there. So not bad there from MV, who's in the chat and in our Discord. So he's pretty cool. All right, so not bad. Now that is where we are on that one. Now I was going to bring up the bull token, wasn't I? So let me just pull that up first because that's also another one. So we've got this VBurn token, and we also got the bull token as well. That could do some pretty cool stuff out there. So if you're looking for value and willing to take a bit of speculation, those could be really, really amazing. MBS says not announced yet, farm away. bull farm probably before airdrop. I'm just speculating. Yeah, that does seem like the logical order. So I probably agree with you there. So yeah, we're going to try and check out bull now. I don't think I've had bull saved. I'm going to have to look it up manually. I hope I get the right one. Bull. It's going to show up. What happened there? This disappeared on me, didn't it? Bull. All right, so bull. It must be this one here. Maybe it always does. Yeah, it looks like this one. So yeah, this one here got rugged by the developer, right? So that's what Incognito was talking about. Got rugged. This is on the daily chart, and then it's managed to bounce off 8 zeros, 8,800, and it's back to 8 zeros, 1538. This is before it gets on to the VOX farm, right? So that's obviously people are going to demand that, and it's still pretty cheap, right? Because liquidity is 15K, so it's very different from these other ones we've been talking about, which were up in the hundreds of thousands, $500,000 mark. Still 15K. The market cap's still super cheap, 146. And of course 36K volume at the moment, and you get PulseX, right? You get PulseX as you drop there, so that is in at the moment. So you can definitely check it out, but I'll post a link to that chart. You remember to confirm all the contract details and stuff like that. That's up to you. I just did a quick search there. That seems to be the right one, but always double check. There we are. That is the link there to Latin's got the website and Twitter and Telegram, so you can jump into those as well. And as we know, that looks like the VOX crew, Incognito and others, have taken that over, and it could go to farm very, very soon. Who knows? It could be a tremendous buy. So that could be a tip of the day from MV and the crew. How about that tip of the day? All right, so not bad. That is pretty much happening there. Now we can see, I didn't talk about Magic Outright. Magic Outright on Pulse Chain at the moment is down almost 50%, $380 million. Can you believe it? But hey, look, we'll just have to wait for that part of the Pulse Chain bull. We've got bull at the moment, so we can wait for that part of the Magic Outright. All right, so pretty cool. Let's jump over to Titanex quickly. I'm not going to go through this as much as I normally do, but at the moment we are still trying to, we're kind of skimming the bottom at the moment from the looks of it. Is it going to do another leg down? Well, people hope not, but at the moment this is where it's at. So we're going to quickly check on Titanex. And as you guys know, the buy and burn value is pretty much like a big Dow now, big Dow supporting the back of the token. We had a big 10x. We came all the way back down on the price. We're basically back down at the very lowest price way back here in April the 19th. So the chart looks pretty bad. And of course, the founder's not around. He's developing. He hasn't really been in social media for quite a while, but he's apparently developing the Omni chain. So we'll just have to wait for him. And he's turned off all the buy and burns, so the buy and burns will turn off, right? So in terms of the ETH ratio, though, that's still relatively high, so it hasn't reached an all-time low yet. And we're just going to log this chart. So the all-time low is down at 10 zeros 5,000. This Titanex versus ETH. We're still up from there quite a bit. What's that? 50, 60%, let's say, up at 10 zeros 700. So pretty good buying range. But once again, we'll see where we go here with Titanex, obviously with ETH also struggling to get over 2,000 again. That's a problem too. So it's kind of where we are. DragonX holding up 6.6 Titanex on the ratio. It's dropped off. It was up at 8, remember? So it's dropped off a little bit there, but still holding up. The buy and burns turned off there too. X28 there, ratio to Titanex 0.89. That's the Omni-chain version of Titanex. That's pretty flat at the moment. Shogun at the moment is actually green, so it's nice to see that. And of course, that's going Omni-chain, and that's just ticking away. Hyper and Hydra both pretty much minted out. Hyper they're just sitting there, and it's got about a 65% backing with the buy and burn. I think it is somewhere in there. Hydra, of course, is like over 90% backing. In fact, it got flipped for a little bit yesterday because it got a big sell-off, right? Went from 0.1 DragonX to 0.05. Dramatic and, of course, crazy in some ways. And the buy and burns almost more than the liquid supply. So that's pretty incredible. So you know that once the buy and burns all get turned on and all goes back up, there's going to be some pretty big value at the moment. But it's pretty brutal on the bottom of wave 2. Now, Hollis is had a big day yesterday. That's going Omni-chain. Volt's obviously got a big roadmap there. The devs, crazy Stevie D's waiting for the timeline. In fact, the only ones that are really streaming a lot at the moment are Helios. That's the dude. So he's doing a great job. And Inferno, guys. So these are the ones that are only streaming. All the other founders are disappeared. They disappeared. I don't know where they gone. Even if they're not launching anything, they can always do social media. So we're still missing quite a few of the founders. But, we've got the dude. He's doing great stuff. And we've got Crypto Utah and others and from Inferno doing good stuff there too. So taken away there. Morpheus, we haven't heard from Brandon either for quite a long time, but I guess they're all working on the roadmaps. These guys are builders. They're building. You just got to be a bit patient and endure the chart while it is. In fact, it's probably a pretty good price range to buy once you can do your due diligence. Tink Farm at the moment, 3 cents. That's had a nice little recovery. Super shadowy there, doing an incredible job with the rollout of, sorry, not Tink Farms, this is Eric, sorry. We haven't heard from Eric either, but I'm sure he's building away as well. And of course, let's see, we know Element 280, Element 369, they're all going to base chain. So that's going to be bullish for the ecosystem. So the dude and James and people like that are doing a great job there. What else is going on here? Let's jump down the bottom here. Uranus, of course, has performed like a boss, up over 2x, almost 2.1x returns in unlike 5 weeks. So doing tremendous there over the last 33 days. It's up 7.8% today. And we know that the buy and burn's turned off there too. And also they're working on the base influencers. So they're doing a great job leading that. Big shout out to James and Dude. I'm hoping to have them on the show very soon. Now, Ouroboros, of course, with Super Shady, he's doing a great job. And that's been really, really cool to see that. So let's quickly look at the supply, how valued this is at the moment on a down market. Remember, this is on a down market. So let's see where this is at the moment on Ouroboros. So kind of cool. We know that it's going to have a lot more collateral coming. And so that's going to be a booster to the collateral as well. But it's been, in my view, a very successful launch, especially in such volatile, trying times on the bottom of Wave 2 on Titan X2. So it's what a great launch. I mean, it's fantastic. If you can do a launch like that in those conditions, fantastic. We've seen some really great results here. So let's go over to the system stats. We've got the aggregate health at 192% at the moment. There's been a few liquidations, of course, with the Titan X price and other things. We've got TVL at $1.4 million, so still holding up pretty strong there. Issued debt over 700,000, I should say, doing pretty well. And of course, the amount of collateral there, 6.89 trillion Titan X. So that's gone up, isn't it? So we're almost at 11 trillion Titan X has gone in to Ouroboros, which is a fantastic result. We just need another a couple more of those kind of protocols. That'd be pretty good. We've got 406 billion Dragon X in there as well. And so, ticking away, not bad. 32 loans for Titan X and 25 loans for Dragon X. So ticking away there. US Minter, of course, only takes Titan X and Dragon X at the moment to make a new loan. But we know that ETH is coming, Aura X is probably coming, and Volt is coming. So bullish for all of those 3 tokens. And the staking at the moment for the stablecoin that you get by providing collateral has jumped a lot. So it's up to 541%. So that's really rebounded. Really great APR there. We talked about the VOX APRs. Well, for a farm with stablecoins, 542%, damn good, right? Damn good. 542% on a stablecoin, damn, that's good. All right, so that's pretty neat there. If you want to check it out, I'll post the link to Titan X Hub, and you can check out all those projects. Very much a buyer's market there right now. Kind of cool. That's the cool number there. All right, so we're going to wrap it up. Obviously, we're expecting some cool projects coming up in the future. We've got a countdown back for Flare. That's new. 8 days. So this has popped up there. Flare is going to be launching, so kind of cool. We've also got, obviously, we're looking forward to Bitcoin Genie eventually launching. That's going to be a Frontier DeFi 3.0. We've also got Taurus coming up, which is from Influencer Cryptographics, and that's got some cool 3.0, DeFi 3.0 tokenomics as well. So can't wait to see all that. That is where we're at. So that is pretty much it on our show today. We're just over 1 hour, so not bad. It's a full show. We've covered some pretty awesome performers on Pulse Chain. Some of the best FINFESTA, VOX at the moment, crushing it. And of course, Titan X at the moment, very much a buyer's market, waiting for those buy and burns, waiting for the founders to come back and talk about Omni-Chain and all that sort of stuff behind the scenes, which I'm sure they're working on. And the crypto markets, Bitcoin's up a little bit, holding up pretty well. Ethereum, of course, could do a lot better, but it does have institutional backing. We've got a very good chance that we'll get some good cash flow coming in on Q2 from states in the US, which are rushing through all these crypto bills. We probably have, settled down a bit on the tariff flux as well. Maybe we'll get possibly some good news from the Fed in a week's time. These are sort of some of the things that we're hitting at the moment, and hopefully that 40% prediction of recession won't happen, and we'll keep just rallying through for a mega run, as we say, the golden age of America that Trump is trying to set up for the future, and we'll get a big extended bull run. That'd be very, very exciting. All right, hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, hit the bell. See you in Discord. Links in the video description to join up. Only $12.50 a month. If you want to join Strategy Club, $35. That includes the community membership as well. So join up today and become part of our community. We've got incredible people in there TA gurus, speculative degen gurus. We've got them all. Get in there, folks, as well as investor focus also. I'll catch you in the next show. Hope you enjoyed this one. Take care, everybody, and bye for now.